The upward elbow blow is one of my favorite elbows working the inside because it allows me to accomplish a few key things. Number one, it's a great strike. It's very hard to stop, it's very hard to pick up because it's just coming right from that center line. It's hard to see sometimes, and it's right there. The other thing, as you can see plainly, and you've already been introduced to the cover block if you've watched those videos, is that it puts me from a offensive, which is the elbow, into a defensive mode right away, which is that cover. And it goes quickly back to offensive. So if I'm here, offense, defense, offense. There's my elbow again. And from here we have a lot of options, right? This hand's kind of free now. I can strike here, like we've talked about before. I can access a weapon if that's what I'm doing. I can block low, I can block high. It allows me some mobility here, okay? Right, we have all these options available to us. You don't have all those options with the crossface. Again, it's not a bad elbow, but it's mainly an offensive elbow because I'm striking. Yeah, I do have blocks here for sure, okay? But look at this side. It's kind of, I can access a weapon, but I'm kind of bound up a bit unless I switch back, which is something we're going to talk about here in a little while in another video. But if I had to pick crossface or upward, I like the upward. That's just me, okay? So if I'm going to practice just the upward elbow blow from a rear, again, fighting position, I strike up, and I'm right here, turning my back foot, getting that energy, putting my hips into it. Now this hand here, it allows me to do a couple things. Number one, I can strike back, we talked about that. I can block low or block high, it's kind of hanging out here in the center. I can access a weapon, if that's what I want to do. Or obviously go into another elbow from this position. So that's kind of why I like the upward elbow blow. So if we're here, nice and easy. That's the upward elbow blow. So the rear elbow blow is a difficult one to practice from a practical one-on-one perspective with another attacker. Because obviously that person's in front of me. Like I did with the side elbow blow, as I blend to the inside or outside, doing a side blow to set up technique is very realistic and very doable. But what I'm not going to do is, block, turn, and strike from the rear while I give my back to the attacker. That doesn't make any sense. It does make sense with multiple attackers. Again, I'm not going to get into that, but I will show you the rear elbow blow interjected when we're doing a free flow elbow exercise with movement. That makes sense, only because we're flowing movement, right? If you do want to practice from a fighting position, what you could do is nice and relaxed, just keep that hand up and strike just from the rear, right? I could block low, strike, block high, strike. I could cover, strike. Other side, strike. Block high, strike. Block low, strike. Cover, strike. That's the best I think you can do right now solo and without worrying about multiple attackers. The side elbow blow is an interesting one from a fighting position, okay? I'm not going to say from here, I would, wind up. We learn that way traditionally just to coordinate our body and to kind of accentuate, over-accentuate the fact of where we're getting that power from in the hips. But we're definitely going to shorten that up in a combative perspective. Okay? So one way we can use this, and this is all going forward, okay? So from this position, imagine you will, there's a partner or attacker in front of me, and let's say they're throwing a roundhouse, okay? Roundhouse punch with their right, which would be coming from this position, okay? Couple things. If I go to the inside, one way I could practice the side elbow blow is if I were to block and enter onto the inside line, I have a rear elbow blow. Okay? That's one way you can practice it. So your entries can be just a simple one-hand block for now. Now, you probably already saw that I have an opportunity for other elbows. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because we're going to look at elbow combinations, right? But simply, I'm just moving, loading up the elbow, and there's my strike. This is the control of the arm right here. So a drill you can do on your own is step in with the back foot, imagine a one-hand block, or actually do the one-hand block, right? And as I block, I'm going to grab, or just kind of lay my hand on top, and there's my elbow. Okay? So here, side, that's one way you can do that. Another way you can do it is working the outside line rather. Okay? So what I don't want to do is this, again from my perspective, I don't want to block and do an elbow this way and staying on the inside. The problem with that is he's got an open weapon there, which I could block, right? But I'm starting to give my back. And I never really want to do that. I'm a big believer in not giving my back. Much more so since I've started to train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a few years ago. You obviously never want to give anybody your back on the ground. So, and that's not a good thing in any self-defense scenario. So, but I am much more aware of that now since I've been doing a lot of groundwork. Anyways, so if I'm going to take the outside line, how do I do that? Well, I could block, X parry, side elbow blow. Okay? So all I'm doing is imagine again the punch coming from this direction, which would be the opponent's right hand. I would execute a one-hand block. I could also execute a cover, whatever you want to do. So we'll keep it simple. One-hand block. There's my entry. It's an upward parry. We can call it an X block parry, whatever you want to call it. So as I'm coming in, there's my arm control on the outside, and there's my side elbow. Okay? So I'm here. From this side, again, my lead is my right. Block, X block, strike. That's another way you can use a side elbow blow. The obvious are actually if someone's coming at you from the side, if I'm fighting somebody here and there's a second opponent, right, I'm dealing, I'm moving, I can strike this way. But I don't want to get into all that craziness with these videos. When you start talking about multiple opponents, it's a whole different world. It's a whole different mindset for the most part. So we're going to keep this very simple, one-on-one. Okay? So that's our side elbow blow.